If you run MLflow for AI experiments, LLM apps, or agent workflows, check version 3.15.0 today. NVD lists CVE 2026-64849 as critical, CVSS 9.3. The risk is unauthenticated server-side request forgery in a webhook test endpoint before MLflow 3.15.0, with potential exposure of internal services or cloud metadata responses. Also review MemOS deployments for CVE 2026-75110, and SiYuan MCP installations for new critical fixes. The action now is simple: patch, restrict exposure, and rotate secrets if logs suggest suspicious access. Lead item, CVE 2026-64849 FX MLflow, the open-source AI engineering platform used for machine learning, agents, large language models, and model operations. According to NVD and the GitHub advisory, MLflow versions before 3.15.0 validate the original webhook URL, but the delivery path can follow redirects and re-resolve hostnames without pinning the validated address. That can let an unauthenticated attacker reach internal network targets or cloud metadata services and receive status and response body information. The fix is MLflow 3.15.0. Defenders should upgrade, limit public access to MLflow tracking and webhook routes, watch outbound network traffic from MLflow hosts, and review webhook activity around the exposure window. Second, CVE 2026-75110 in MemOS, a memory operating system for LLMs and AI agents. NVD records critical severity, including CVSS 4.0 score 9.3 and CVSS 3.1 score 9.8. The issue appears when authentication is enabled but an internal service secret is not configured. In that state, requests can be treated as trusted internal calls and receive broad scopes. The reported impact includes admin API key management, key generation, key enumeration, revocation, and access to data endpoints. If you run MemOS, verify whether the internal service secret is explicitly configured, restrict network reachability, rotate API keys if exposure is possible, and follow project guidance as it is released. Third, SiYuan before version 3.7.4 has MCP and debug endpoint fixes that matter to AI-enabled note-taking and local knowledge workflows. CVE 2026-74798 is a path traversal issue in an MCP database cleanup tool. NVD describes possible arbitrary file read and deletion for an authenticated MCP client. CVE 2026-74799 is a critical information disclosure issue where GoProf debug endpoints could be exposed without authentication outside exact production mode, potentially leaking in-memory secrets, including AI provider API keys. Upgrade SiYuan to version 3.7.4 or later, disable unnecessary MCP access, and check whether debug endpoints were reachable from untrusted networks. A cloud security note, CVE 2026-15623 affects Google Cloud SecOps, Chronicle SOAR, versions before June 3, 85. NVD describes a critical blind SQL injection in a legacy dashboard widget API for authenticated attackers. Google says the issue was patched in version 6.3.85 and no customer action is needed. Even when the provider handles the fix, security teams should document the advisory, monitor for related vendor notifications, and keep playbooks ready for credential review if suspicious authenticated activity appears. Checklist: upgrade MLflow, configure MemOS secrets, update SiYuan, restrict AI platform exposure, block metadata access where possible, review logs, and rotate exposed keys.